Duck had settled in well at the yards at Tidmouth. He was a hard worker, and the trucks and coaches were very fond of him. Due to Duck's size, it was found that he could go almost anywhere. He was even allowed to leave the yards and do other jobs. The bigger engines, however, didn't think that this was appropriate. I don't see why the Fat Controller allowed you to go out onto the main line. Your place is here in the yards. The Fat Controller thinks I'm more than capable. Pah! You watch yourself, Duck. A little tank engine going out doing all the heavy work is bound to cause trouble. It was the beginning of spring. Many of Sodor's companies that had seized up during the winter were coming back in business, and the railways were returning to order. Duck was shunting in the yard one morning when the Fat Controller arrived. Duck, just the engine I wanted to see. Hello, sir. What's the problem? The lumber company have requested a tank engine to go up there and help out for a few days. They are very busy and need another engine. Not too big and not too small. I think you are the best engine for the job. With respect, sir, but who will take care of my work here? Don't worry. Charlie and Stanley can manage just fine. Well, very well then, sir. And Duck steamed off to Henry's Forest where the lumber company was situated. When Duck arrived, the manager was waiting for him. Hello there, sir. I'm here to start work. Very good, Duck. We have lots of work here, so I hope you will prove to be a hard worker. Duck went to work. He would go out into the forest with a flat truck and a small van that the workmen would ride in. The workmen would get out their van and begin their work of cutting down trees. Then he would take them back to the factory, where they would be cut up to make timber and other things. The forest itself was very big, one of the largest on Sodor. The sector that the lumber company used was fenced off from the rest of the forest, so none of the wildlife got in. Unfortunately, there were some cases where animals and people would enter. One day, Duck returned to the lumber yards where he saw Henry. Morning, Henry. Morning, Duck. Henry and Duck proceeded to chat. Suddenly, they were rudely interrupted by a loud bang. What was that? Hunters. They come along to the forest and shoot at anything that moves. They do nothing but bring harm to the animals. One day they might end up shooting a person, or maybe even an engine. Now, there's no way that they are coming that close to the sawmill. It's not safe for any old Tom, Dick and Harry to be walking around. Trust me, Duck, I hear those gunshots so close that the workmen jump like rabbits. Well, being shot at is not the way I want to go out. Signs have been put up to keep people away, but those hunters just don't listen. Don't worry, Henry. I'm sure that sooner or later they'll realize that this is a railway and that they should keep away. Still, best be careful, Duck. You don't know where they might be lurking. And Henry puffed away. While Duck had taken Henry's words into consideration, he felt like Henry was just being paranoid. He decided to go to work and not worry about the hunters. But that was easier said than done. Goodness gracious! I'll say, if something isn't done soon, someone will get seriously hurt. I can't understand it. I thought that fence would surely keep them out. The fence is useless. Are you trashing my craftsmanship? I stand corrected. Duck was a little worried now, but he knew that he should not let it get in the way of his work. It will be best to not bother with those hunters. They can ignore the signs and the fence all they want. They're just silly people with guns, and I am an engine. A gun can't stop me. Duck was going to eat those words a few days later. Duck, I need you to take this train of logs to Vickerstown for me. They need to get to Barrow for some kiddie's plaything. Of course, sir. Duck was coupled onto the trucks and was soon on his way. Duck puffed along the line happily. It was a cool evening, and the fresh air blew across his boiler. However, what Duck didn't know was that two hunters were hiding in the bushes. "We're awfully close to the railway tracks there, chap." "Oh, please, it's fine." "But you're being very loud, chap. You might scare the prey away." "They have the right to be afraid. Once I killed a grizzly with my bare hands." "Very believable." The hunter looked through his binoculars. He could see a fox on the other side of the railway tracks. "There, that's what I'm looking for." "Stay there, you beauty." Then, everything happened at once. Duck came down the line and blew his whistle, which scared the fox. The hunter, who was also rather startled, fired hoping to catch the fox, but instead hit Duck's side tank. Ow! What was that? One of those hunters has fired in your direction, Duck. Their bullet hit your side tank, and now water is seeping out. Oh dear. What hooligan would go shooting an engine? Just then, Duck and his crew heard a rustling in the bushes. Sorry chap. I got a bit excited, you see. Never meant to shoot your engine. Well, you have caused a lot of damage and trouble. Now Duck here will have to go to the works. Right. Sorry, Duck. The hunters were taken away by the police. They were fined and had to pay for Duck's repairs. They even had their gun licenses revoked. Duck was taken to the works by Henry. "Well, Duck, you learned about these hunters the hard way. I guess Gordon was right. Letting a little tank engine out the yard did cause trouble after all." Henry laughed, and Duck rolled his eyes.